taught you to hate the color of your skin? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Most of us blacks, or Negroes as he called us, really thought we were free without being aware that in our subconscious, all those chains we thought had been struck off were still there. And there were many ways where what really motivated us was our desire to be loved by the white man. Malcolm meant to lance that sense of inferiority. He knew it would be painful. He knew that people could kill you because of it, but he dared to take that risk.
He was saying something over and above that of any other leader of that day, while the other leaders were begging for entry into the house of their oppressor. He was telling you to build your own house.
I came to Ghana for the first time. I was like, whoa, this is nothing like they told us. If I'm honest with myself, I wasn't living in America. I was doing in America. I could hardly breathe, but I can breathe in Ghana.
G, a retired American teacher who had lived in Memphis all her life, never thought she would leave. But in the summer of 2017, she experienced what she calls a wake-up call.
I was 57 at the time, and I was stopped by the police, 6 cars. They said my car was stolen, and they put me in cuffs. And I was like, this is saying that it's time for me to go.
2 months later, she decided to leave the US for good. She moved to Ghana. Her daughter, who had married a man from Accra, picked her up from the airport.
I just fell on the ground and said, I made it. I just fell on the ground. I said, I made it.
G is one of a growing number of African Americans returning to their motherland. Whether visiting or moving permanently, many come here to Cape Castle on Ghana's coast. This is where their enslaved ancestors were forcibly held. From here, they were taken to America through a door known as the point of no return.
Ghana down to Suriname, taken from my motherland. Don't forget your mother tongue. Please don't shoot me, we are one.
Ghana designated 2019 as the year of return, a campaign to attract African Americans to move here, selling a new home and new hope to those seeking a different life. And when George Floyd was killed by police in Minneapolis, the tourism minister promised something she believes the US could not: freedom from racial abuse.
Come home, build a life in Ghana. You do not have to stay where you are not wanted forever. You have a choice, and Africa is waiting for you.
One can't legislate the hearts of man. You can't legislate the opinions of man. Racism in America, unfortunately, it's something that I think will always be there.
Racism is there, staring you in the face, and I am not sure if there's any way around it or out of it or anything that will fix it. And this is the reason why we left.
Been in Uganda for about 2 years off and on. Now this year I decided to stay permanently. So I chose to be here because the cost of living is much more maintainable, and I don't feel like I'm in danger anymore. Like there's other things that I have to be worried about, but I don't feel like a target. I don't feel like someone wants to take my life or wants to control my life just because of my color.
We are in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and we've been here for about 5 months. When we came here, the ultimate decision-making aspect was seeing how happy the children were here and how easily they made friends. And that was such a relief to me, and I was so happy. And we decided to stay. We just fell in love with Tanzania. We just wanted to feel somewhere where we felt at home.
I'm joined by diaspora repatriate Mr. Brian Wheeler.
I've been in Africa for a little over 11 years now. I've always felt that Africa was and is home. I've always felt that I'm an African, although an African in the diaspora. It was a natural feeling. Once I landed on the continent, I felt so at home, I felt at ease, and I felt at peace. It was a natural emotion to want to move to Africa.
Woo-hoo! What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Thursday night edition of the No PC Show. I know that video was kind of long in the beginning, but it was important that we shared that for everybody over there on the Facebook side. If you click that link, you can come over and be over on the YouTube side, and you can see the things, the videos, because you guys could only hear it, but there's a whole video thing that played. The topic tonight is Black to Africa. And the last few shows I've been talking about this because I've been gauging the responses of a lot of Black folks. And I had to say some of it is a little disturbing, because there were so many people that acted offended that I would even suggest Black to Africa. How are you offended by your heritage? Maze Jackson and them had a good conversation, and I had tuned in, and Herb and Tucson, I love their show. I love their energy. So this is no knock on them. But I made a comment, and then Herb commented on my comment. Then they talked about it on their show. Because you hear this so often, we built America. And I said, if you build my house and I move in, you don't have a right to my house. It's my house. What I say goes. And this is why, we all know the stories, and we did help build this country. But the people we built it for don't believe in entitlement. And I think we do a lot of ourselves a disservice, because I just believe a lot of people just did not get the message like I got the message when I was young. And I always talk about Mr. Phillip. That was one of my favorite teachers. And he said to me, Mr. Robinson, why would they do anything to help you? They on top. The whole rules of power is to stay on top. So you got Donald Trump doing all this crazy stuff because he understands it don't make a difference. If I can stay on top by hook or crook, I'm going to do it. And we fall in love with the fantasy of America because that's all we know. We were captives here. Everybody gives us, I was talking to another brother today, and he was giving me a whole breakdown on we were here first before Columbus. Yeah, but not the same us. Not the same us. Don't get it twisted. And yes, we were Moors. But we're talking, that's pre-colonialization. That did not give you ownership to the land, and it did not allow you to protect the land. Because when it comes to nation building, You had to have land, resources, and be able to protect those resources. And so some of the first slaves that came over weren't even slaves. There actually, I think there were about 25 freemen that came. And then they were put into slavery. So, you know, great job on giving me the history of everything. I read and study a lot too. The thing is, we have been so indoctrinated into this society that we just refuse to believe that our Savior may be back in Africa, reconnecting with our brothers and sisters. If you saw the video, you saw the Prime Minister of Ghana saying, you don't have to be treated like this. Come back here. And then you saw all the people talking, people that have actually moved back to Africa or transitioned back into Africa, where they can breathe. Oh, I can breathe now. Is it a perfect situation? No. Are we talking about everybody moving back at once? No. Are we talking about leaving reparations on the table? No. If we're going back, and it's probably going to be something that takes years for us to transition back on a large scale, no, we want to get that money, and then we want to transition back. We want to be able to go and set up an economy like the Chinese are setting up an economy. I wrote this statement down earlier today because I was thinking about it. We want our heritage here in America, but they screaming slavery is their legacy. What's that saying? I say Mr. Chan say it all the time. Black people are the only people that fight to be under their oppressor. Black people are also the only ones that don't have a connection to their homeland. So you get all these ethnicities in America, and they'll tell you about their parents in China, their parents in Korea, their parents in South America, Cuba, all over the world. We don't know nothing beyond the South. And that should make everybody feel a little sad. But then you talk to these African people, and let's get rid of the notion that Africans don't like black people in America. That's nonsense. They are raised in a different, first of all, realize that most of them were not enslaved like that. They had apartheid and things like that and fought and got their freedom back. First, I think it was Ghana in 1957, and then the other ones fell in line. Most of them are raised to value education, not 1 degree, but 2 degrees. If you want to appease your parents and show your success, we don't get that. We happy if our kids graduate high school. We happy if the government gives us a little something. It's not going to make a difference. I tell people all the time, look, Trump's an outward racist. Biden is a hidden racist. And they ain't no different than all the other presidents that we had in this country. Excluding Obama, but the psychology of what Obama did is just as bad as everybody else because we still didn't get anything. And that's on us. And we get all these people wanting to battle and talk about, well, if we do the politics this way, if we do the politics this way, you're not getting nothing. If I'm in control. Now, we got all these legs and different things we can try to do if we going to stay here. Politics is our weakest leg. It might as well be a broken leg. Somebody said progress is slow. I said, but the left hook can knock you out quick. We're not debating Republican or Democrat. Every time somebody says Republican or Democrat, I say, no, America. Well, there's some good white people. Well, they kin to the bad white people. We so afraid of offending people. I'm offended myself. And they talk all this stuff about, oh, we're going to help you with black businesses. And most people with black businesses, like myself, no, we got to jump through 30 million hoops to get this much. But all these foreigners that barely speak English are able to fill out these 60-page forms and get businesses in our neighborhoods. I don't want you to tear down the business. I just don't want you to spend your money with them no more. Easiest way to get rid of people is don't spend your money with them. When they leave, the structure's already there. We move in. Economic revolution. Tired of all the young folks just want to be out here screaming. Everybody want to be a part of something. And that's great. But you got to listen. Had an uncle named Charlie. He'd always say, listen and learn. We don't know everything. We are just a continuous progression of what happened to our parents and their parents and their parents before. I had a unique opportunity because I was raised by my grandmother, whose mother, my great-grandmother, whose mother was born into slavery. I got all my family records all the way back to past 1851, but they didn't keep birth records like that beyond that point. So I got a first-hand seat through history of Jim Crow and what she experienced with them coming out of slavery to when they were born and the things that they had to go to. That's why I tell people, don't you dare disrespect the elders and the things that they had to go through to get to a certain point. And they weren't being taught about Africa either. So how will we know? How will we become enlightened? Africans don't hate us. They hate niggas. I don't like niggas either. I like black people. Niggas are the ones that's shooting up and killing everybody and doing all this dumb shit. That's niggas. You can have white niggas too. You can have Chinese niggas. It's a whole bunch of people that can fall into that category. So when I say nigger, it's not referring to a black person. It's referring to an ignorant, shiftless person that's doing a whole bunch of shit I don't like. And I ain't got to like it, and I don't have to hear the excuses on why you a nigger. I got a poem, it's called, They Want Me to Be a Nigger. That's what my poem says. So the brother I was talking to today, he had been in prison and everything. And, you know, he's a little indoctrinated. He read a lot and all this. So I showed him my poem, They Want Me to Be a Nigger. And I said, just read the first few lines of that. He says, okay, they want me to be a nigger. Our history's filled with southern trees. Reality, not our reality. They still picking at my very soul. Niggas got to learn to play the role. It was slaves bought and slaves sold. A cold gold. It was a goal. Slavery was a goal. This how we gonna build this nation. This is the plan. Cotton, tobacco. Whatever they could do to make this money, to finance this country. Slavery financed the Industrial Revolution. They'll tell you, no, well, wasn't no slaves during the Industrial Revolution. Where y'all get that money from? All them years of free labor? Know your history. It's so weird to me, and I haven't made it to Africa myself, but definitely that is a trip that I must take. I must go. Because I have never been delusioned with what America has told us. There's a term called cognitive dissonance. That's when you believe something for so long, and when you're awakened with the truth, it is so shocking to your system, it's hard for you to wake up. Like we got all these people running around talking about they're woke now. What does it mean to you? What does this woke mean to you? What does it mean? What are you doing now that you're woke? I made a statement to help black people. You got to love black people in front of white people. And that's hard for a lot of people. They had a good Blackish episode on the other day. And this is one of the points we often talk about, that you're not going to wage war the way you think you're going to wage war. It's 44 million black people in America, right? You can get rid of 22 million of them right off the bat because they ride with America, and whatever America says, they are indoctrinated to that point. Why would we overthrow America when I'm living good? Oh, hell no. You niggas crazy. You got that group. Then you got a large group that are kids. So you got a whole group, we'll say, I'll even say 17 and under. Those are kids. So we went from 22 million, from 44 million to 22 million because half of them on the team. So you can take another 12 million out of that because those are kids. And we'll find something for them doing the revolution, but they not really going to be in the revolution like that. So that takes you down to what? 10 million? The incarceration of black men in this country is at an all-time high. Take off another 2 million for the rotation of black men in and out of prison. That gets you down to 8 million. They always talking about the unemployment rate for black men is 7% or whatever, that's a total lie. You can raise that up to another 30-something. It's about 30-something with the unemployment for black people. What does that lead to? It leads to self-destruction, the destroying of the neighborhoods, destroying of the community. So take those numbers out. Take away all the people that are in prison in the community, don't have a way out. They don't have the resources. They don't have the education. They don't have the means to free themselves. Now you're down to 2 million. 2 million, then let's fraction off the groups. You got the Muslims over here. You got the 5%ers over here. You got the other groups over here. None of us are unified. So at any point in time, your revolution will not even consist of 25,000 people. That's what you're fighting with. What's the point in the fight? If we're going to fight and unify together, let's fight to get this reparations, and then let's move to Africa. Not, like I say, it's not an all at one plan. Let's say the next 50 years, we're slowly migrating to Africa. We're getting this money, and we're setting up businesses in Africa. So when we get there, there's something already for us to go and be a part of. The tech industry in Africa is, almost non-existent. Phone service is almost non-existent. But who you got moving in there now? You got the Chinese. And they teaching Africans English and all this other stuff. So they trying to assimilate Africa into it. So the brother today says, well, Chinese are African too. Yeah, brother, but let's stop putting these contents of who these people were to who they are now. We've seen all the statues, the big nose, and we know martial arts came from Africa and then was taken on down the line. We know all that. We ain't talking about who those people were then. We're talking about who they are now. We're talking about collecting our heritage, our legacy. Because you can't say heritage and legacy sitting in somebody else's house. It's just one of those things that you're not going to be able to do. And I hate to break everybody's bubble because everybody is totally convinced. It took a while for me. I'm trying to think, what age was I when I determined America was full of shit? Oh, well, why don't you go? Okay. Break me off 2 million, eyes out. Doses. Do that for me, government. Doses, I'm out. We need reparations to make our move. We need reparations to make it right for those people, our legacy, the people we came under that suffered tremendous loss. Biggest terrorist in the world is America. They terrorized us for 400 years, so yeah, they need to pay. But as long as you running around talking about I'm an American, America doesn't pay reparations to Americans. Stop it. We playing this game of nonsense and checkers instead of chess. I'm going to find me an African connection. I talked to a brother from Ghana the other day. Yeah, it's probably not going to be perfect. It may be a little getting used to. But what if our salvation is over there? Because we know what's over here. We know the destruction. We know the mayhem. And we know the players. It got to a point now in this country that the fox gets to judge the chickens. Man, you chickens be tripping, man. I'm here to destroy y'all. What is y'all talking about? That's what chickens is for. I'm here to kill all y'all, and y'all being judgmental against me because I'm doing what my nature says to do. I'm totally amazed by any black person that supports Donald Trump. Like I say, hey, I believe Biden is a hidden racist. But I know Trump is an outward racist. And I told the brother today, I said, it's about morality to me. I can't support this man and then turn around and talk to my kids like there's no morality in the world. Everything this man says and does is an immoral thing. And I would never put money over morality. Like I told that brother, I said, hey, the devil was in heaven. And he was saying a lot of great things and caused the failure of a third of the angels. A lot of people love this Donald Trump dude. He's made America great again. I love his business sense. I said, but can he rape your daughter? Can he shoot you in the middle of the street? Can he discriminate against you in the housing market like him and his daddy did? Can he discriminate against his workers? And this is all cool with you because you're telling me he's a great businessman. But what great businessman operates like this? But he's running America the way it needs to be ran. Into the ground? Yeah, he's following the rules that were set here in this country. And he got enough money to operate with that. You can't think like Donald Trump because you ain't got no money. You been to jail. He should be in jail, but he ain't going. And even if he loses his presidency, he going back to being rich. He going back to being Donald Trump. He going back to being who he is. Like that question at the beginning of tonight's show. It ain't who he is. It's who are you. How you say that? You're from the lost tribe of Shabazz, walking in the wilderness and too ignorant to even consider that being an African means reconnecting to your continent, to your people, learning what it is to be African instead of fighting to be American. There's no American flag in my shop. Why would I put an American flag in my shop? Why would I even answer to African American? What has America done? And we're talking collectively. What has America done collectively for black people? Not a damn thing. 400 years of politics, and we ain't no closer to reparations. Is Kamala and Biden gonna have a discussion for black people? No, why don't black people have a discussion for black people? How about that? How about we start making some plans and stop waiting on somebody to make plans for us? Because that's the quickest way to stay in this same hole. It was something in one of the videos, and it was so touching. The lady said, when we moved here, I was worried about my kids. And then I saw them flourish in this environment. People are able to breathe when they go there. I know a lot of people that have visited Africa, and they all had that same experience. So it must be something with this experience. I need to get me a jar or something, start putting some money in it, because I need to go. I need to experience it for myself. And hey, I become a millionaire, I'm out of here. Deuces. Might not even have to be a millionaire. But I want America to pay. There was a question asked today that black men want revenge. No, we just want out the system. A black woman said, well, you guys don't want to support powerful sisters. It ain't got nothing to do with powerful sisters. It's got to do with the game they played on you, sister, to make you feel like you're a powerful sister, that we need to be under you in such a way, which, and it may sound crazy, I believe in gender roles and things like that. And I believe a woman that's in power that doesn't abuse her power should be respected. But I've seen a lot of black women in power become very disrespectful to men and abuse that power. And that's the part I don't like. So no, I do believe that the white man uses the black woman and has used her since the very beginning to manipulate and control and keep us oppressed. That's my belief. Nobody else has to believe it. Nobody has to agree with it. That's my belief. But I do believe, if nothing else, I think we need to start looking at that African thing, seeing what's there, seeing what the opportunity is. In one of the videos, they talk about the port in Ghana where it says the point of no return. That's where they used to load the slaves up. And when they went through that door, they knew they were never coming back to the motherland. They were going to the unknown land. That would be an amazing part if we all came back through that same port and took the destructive history of that and made it something different and something meaningful. And then maybe our brothers and sisters in Africa that are suffering wouldn't be suffering as much, like we wouldn't be suffering as much when we come together. It's power and unity. If you ever seen the Haiti flag, that's what it says. It's written in French. But it says it's power and unity. And we too divided over here. Maybe we can find some unity over there. Maybe we can breathe over there, that we don't have to put on I can't breathe shirts. Maybe we won't have to experience the racism that we daily have to face in this country. Whether it's a little bit of racism today or a lot of racism tomorrow. Maybe we don't have to be distrustful everywhere we go and on our job sites and all this other stuff, that we have to watch the system play out in front of us constantly. I'm sick and tired of it. I think what we're worried about is the luxuries, because all we think Africa is about is huts and all this other type of stuff. No, there are buildings and cities and everything in Africa. Same type of living you're experiencing here. There are areas that have that same type of living. But we got to be able to go somewhere and build the infrastructure. Like the Chinese, they build the infrastructure. They built the hospital, they built the railroad line, and all this other stuff, and they pushing out all the black people that have been there for years as vendors. They doing it all. Because Africa about to become China. Starts out with 1 million people. They got 1 million people. I bet it ain't nowhere near close to 1 million African Americans in China. But let's keep on playing, because that 1 million is going to be 3 million. And then it's going to be 5 million. Because China is overcrowded. I don't know if everybody know that. And it's been overcrowded for years. So a whole continent where Negroes don't even care about their heritage, wipe it out. Your heritage now is Chinese sticks and learning Mandarin. What they say in that movie at the end of the Spike Lee movie. Wake up. Love, peace. So we out of here.
Step out of the car. No, you don't have the right. Step out of the car. Do not have the right to do that. I do have the right. Now step out or I will remove you. I refuse to talk to you other than to identify myself.
Now if your woman ain't no revolutionary, she'll persuade you to be a fucking slave for the rest of your days. She'll be grooming you on how to behave, teaching you how to coon and buck dance so that you can be safe. If that brother ain't no rider, soldier, no provider, molder of young minds, check it out. You got yourself a bitch. Think about the time that you invested in him. If he's wearing them skinny jeans, you a lesbian. For every 100 black women who ain't locked up, it's only 83 black men remain. Take away 1.5 million black men who might have benefited their women and their children. You don't know a war when it's waged against you, when it makes you drive your baby mama to the clinic just to kill your own. Ain't no legacy to leave behind, cause ain't nobody sitting on your throne. You motherfuckers are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga. Sandra Bland was a rider. She wouldn't have committed suicide, and you a motherfucking liar. It would not be wise to stop when you hear sirens and you see the police behind you, but you don't wanna die. They gon' shoot you if you run. They gon' say that you was going for the police gun. That's why they shot you like 120 times, but you was still coming, so they put another bullet in your lung. Them devils got you praying while they murder, because they know you on that bullshit. They steady with them bull clips and body armor. They kill your women in the street, cause they figure you too weak to do anything about it. You some shit, getting fucked in your sleep. They poison you every time you brush your teeth. You don't care, you behave like a slave. A bitch from the cradle to the grave, on your knees with your hands out, begging cause you want to. You motherfuckers are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga. Freedom or death, nigga. Fuck that. Freedom or death, nigga. If you just listen. Freedom or death, nigga. Freedom or death, nigga. Freedom or death, nigga.
Jail. I'm getting it. For what?